same order. So my report entitled Monitoring Assessment and Evaluation in Multi-Classes. In multi-classes, students are taught to be independent or to self-regulate, or SRL. Students acquire the adaptive and independent learning skills, which expectedly improves students' motivation, academic performance, and achievement of the learning outcomes. So, in multi-grade classes or multi-settings, students are often required to be independent and self-regulated learners because they share a classroom with peers or different age groups and grade levels. So this setup encourages them to develop adaptive learning skills, discipline, and responsibility for their own learning, which in turn enhances further motivation, academic performance, and achievement for learning outcomes. So, for self-regulate or self-regulate skills, it means students are learn to manage their time, set learning goals, and monitor their own progress. Since the teachers cannot always provide one-on-one attention, students must develop strategies to stay on focus. So, for the adaptive learning, so this one, adaptive learning, so it means students are become more flexible in adjusting to different teaching methods and learning from their peers who might be at different academic levels. And for the academic performance, so academic performance means by taking ownership of their learning, students enhance their critical thinking skills, leading to the better academic results. And for the achievement of the learning outcomes, so achievement of learning outcome means with a self-directed learning approach, students develop lifelong learning skills that help them to achieve their academics and personal goals. And let's move on to the first, next is the monitoring. So monitoring, constant monitoring or observation is essential in multi-grade classes. A teacher must be very observant of all the students who are engaged in differentiated independent activities. So monitoring means is a constant learning observation by the teacher. It's essential, especially when the students are engaged in differentiated independent activities. Like for example, learning is on the right track. So some students may struggle with the task. So with continuous observation, the teacher can provide immediate assistance. So, for example, students stay focused. So some learners may get distracted, or she lose interest for your discussion. So the teacher, this monitoring is helps to keep engaged the students. So next example is the quality of learning. So it is just not about completing the activity. So the teacher must ensure that students genuinely understand the lesson. So next example of monitoring is the misconceptions or corrected. If students are misunderstand the concept, so the teacher can quickly inherence before the mistake affects their overall learning. Next is the assessment. Assessment in multi-grade settings, regular and frequent formative assessment is vital tool in the teaching learning process. So assessment in multi-grade settings, where students of different grade levels learn together, so regular and frequent formative assessment plays a crucial role in ensuring effective teaching. So since students are this classroom requires ongoing assessment helps to provide targeted support. For example, portfolio assessment. So portfolio assessment means a collection of students' work over time showing their progress areas for improvement. And next example is the learning journals. So student write learning journal is student write about what they learn, difficulties they face, and questions they have. And then in example of assessment, the last is the oral questioning. So oral questioning or a discussion. So the teacher asks a targeted questions to assist comprehension and encourage critical thinking for the students. Like for example, so the next is the evaluation. So evaluation, during evaluation, assessments results are analyzed and judged. It is a judgment which a teacher makes to find out whether or not the students achieve the learning outcome. So evaluation is done to make judgment. So these questions may be asked. So what is the overall results of the assessment? Next question is, what is the performance of a particular pupil and what were the responses of regular questions? So for the evaluation, it is the process of analyzing and making judgments have achieved to intended learning outcomes. It helps teacher decide if instructional strategies are effective or adjustments are needed. For example, final exams or summative tests. So this is a test used to judge if students have mastered the lesson at the end of the unit or term. So next example of the evaluation is the performance task. So performance task. So teachers assist projects, presentation, experiments to determine students' practical application of knowledge. And that's all.